right. All right. What's up, guys? Just getting myself situated here. Things getting loaded up. How's everybody doing out there? So, tonight we were just going to do like a little bit of talking drums and a little bit of playing, answering questions. Sometimes people post a lot of questions on my lives, and I just can't answer them because I'm playing. But I do have a couple awesome mods. So shout out to Wolf and Johnny and Tennessee Tex for their help on the lives to help me with that. But they don't know all the answers either. So I just wanted to have this time to answer questions, do some playing, a little more focus on the drums. All right? So who's out there tonight? Who's out there with me? Got a couple people watching, it says. I'm on the Jersey Shore. Hey, what's up, Wolf? So I'm on the Jersey Shore, like I said. Point Pleasant, Brick, Seaside Heights, that whole area where MTV made it famous. So that's that whole zone, and it's a little south of Asbury Park, the famous Asbury Park where Bruce Springsteen and John Bon Jovi and the famous Stone Pony stage is there. There's also another famous Wonder Bar stage there. And there's multiple places to play around there. Asbury Lanes and Low Dive. And these are like amazing places to play. Especially Stone Pony. That's like the iconic one. And they have a huge summer stage where they have big national acts come through. But that whole scene up there is loaded with musicians. You can pretty much go out any night of the week and see a band. And sometimes you can see multiple bands. I remember one time my wife and I went out. We saw 5 bands in one night just within a half-hour radius of our house. And they're all friends of ours. So you kind of make the rounds. You say hi to everybody. It's actually kind of fun because then you can just go sit in and they ask you up. You sit in, you play a couple songs, you're on to the next one. And then the next one. So I played at 5 different bands that day, just kind of sitting in, playing 2 songs, and then having some fun. And the best part, I didn't even have to pack up my drums. I just kind of went to, I see ya. So it was kind of fun. But yeah, the whole scene in this New Jersey area is amazing. The musicianship is top notch. Top notch. So you can go see some really great bands. So that's a cool thing. You always have outlets. There's tons of musicians. So that's really, really cool. And then with that quality musicianship, you have to kind of keep up on your craft, you know? If you want to keep up with those big guys, the ones that are really doing the bigger gigs. So if there's any questions about anybody having gig questions, I mean, I'm gigging all the time, so I can answer any questions about that or anything like that. But so I'm just going to sit down and play a little bit here, kind of just rock out a little bit. Wolf is here. Awesome. Who else is here? Come on, who's here? Give us maybe 10% more. All right. Hello, hello. I don't know if that's good or not. So, what's up, Big Loaded? So again, I'm just going to do a little playing, kind of loosen up. I was done teaching earlier. Got done teaching earlier and didn't have a lot of time to play. Been trying to also learn a whole bunch of songs for this gig on Friday night. I'm filling in for one of my students in his band, and it's a lot of songs that I don't play. So I have to kind of go through them and review them. So I've been working on that a lot. So let me just kind of loosen up here, guys. Hang out. If you got any questions, post them up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Put in the comments where you're from. got to catch my breath on that one, guys. Give me 1 second. Got to hydrate. Drink your water, guys. All right. So, excuse me with my heavy breathing here. Let's see if we can go through some stuff here. Answer some questions. If anybody's out there, here we got Wolf, Johnny, Metal Rocker. What's up? How you doing? Let's scroll back here. Wolf, okay. Hopefully that volume's good. I kind of went up higher. Hopefully that's better, bud. Big Loaded. Thanks for being here. Scroll down here. Johnny. Okay. Big Loaded, still in the car book. Yep, Jeff. Yep. All right, let's see. What's up, Carol? Carl? Sorry, Carl. I don't have my glasses on. I think that's Carl. Where's the question? You said there's a question earlier? Oh, there it is, Wolf. Okay, sorry. Got to scroll down. So your first question, the first 5 minutes of your warm-up, are you focusing on one or two rudiments or orchestrating those two, or what are you doing bunch? Like the one I did tonight, the first warm-up tonight. You know, it's a mixture of doubles, singles, so it incorporates into a paradiddle, it incorporates into a paradiddle diddle, it incorporates into the 6-stroke roll in a triplet form, or an inverted paradiddle diddle, you can call it that too, or broken pieces of that, right? Anything that's a structure of a 3. So, for instance, hard part is going to be talking and playing because the volume is going to be a little wacky. So hopefully it doesn't blow it out. I'll turn the volume down a little bit on my vocals here. I'll try to shout a little bit more. So if you break it down into the 3 natural pieces, you have right, left, left. Again, right, left, left. Or a right, right, left. Right, right, left. So those are your like 2 basic 3-note pieces. And you can interchange them to get paradiddle diddles or inverted paradiddle diddles / 6-stroke rolls in triplet form. So you can get things that sound like this. And then faster. That kind of stuff. All right. And then you can then start to either replace notes with your bass drum or insert your bass drum, and usually I do a double stroke because then it makes it an 8-note phrase. So let's just say like, so that now it's an 8-note phrase. And then what I'm doing with that, it's just a random thought flow of just notes. I'm not really thinking, switching between them or anything like that. I've done so many hours of practice on top of that, so many hours of teaching it that it's ingrained in my DNA. And I don't really have to think about it. I just kind of do it. And I'm hearing more phrases. So, for instance, yes, it's like a 6-stroke roll with a padiddle, they call it, or padiddle. followed by a six-stroke roll, padiddle, followed by a six-stroke roll. But I don't hear that. I hear doom, da doom, doom, da doom, doom, da crash. I'm hearing that, and I'm filling in the in between all of that. And that comes from just working out all your little patterns of the right, left, and all that stuff. So, Wolf, I hope that answers your question. It was a mixture of all of that stuff. So, if I did answer your question, please tell me I did. All right, we go to the next one here. Let's see, we're going to scroll back here. Yes, Metal Rocker, you are here. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate the kind words, my friend. Anthony, yes. Yeah, man. From earlier, I remember talking to you. Yes. We're going to hook up some lessons. Anthony contacted me today, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Wolf. Yeah, okay, Metal Rocker. Oh, man, I hope that sound bar sounded pretty awesome, Metal. Yeah, I'm sure it does. All right. I'm sorry if I'm taking a lot of time. I'm not going to do any. Metal Rocker wants me to play the Colt. I'm not going to play along to any songs because the copyright thing, man. And then I can't make any income from it. So I'm going to keep it to just me tonight for this. Like, this was my little thing to answer questions. If I am going to play, it's going to be on to like a loop. Or I was even thinking my really old band, which I don't think there's any copyright on that because nothing ever happened to it. So, yeah, so I'm not going to play the Colt. Sorry, buddy. You're live too, Metal Rocker? Are you live right now? All right. What made me decide to play the drums? What motivated me? So Johnny Holt. So when I was in, gosh, probably earlier than I can remember, there was drumsticks in the house and a little practice pad because my dad played bagpipes. He was actually a piper, and he kind of dabbled in the pipe band drum stuff because he was in this pipe band in Philadelphia back in the 50s. And so growing up in my house, there was always that pads and stuff. So I'd always kind of like mess around with them. Never really thought anything about it. And then in seventh grade, my friend was starting to learn drums, and I was like, well, I want to do that too. So I jumped in on lessons with the same teacher, which was this awesome teacher, Don McCroskey, in Doylestown, where I grew up. So Don McCroskey was my first teacher. And I remember from day one, I walked in, and he goes, okay, this is how we hold the sticks, and this is how we hit the drum. He said, okay, great. He goes, can you push the stick into the drum a little bit? And I instantly did a double stroke roll. It was like perfect. It was like, I remember it. And he looked at me, he goes, yeah, like that. And he was just had this big smile on his face. So, so from that point, I was like, all right, this is really cool. And then my friend didn't keep up with it, but I did. And then I went to the next teacher, and that was Dennis Barth. And Dennis and I are still in contact. We just saw each other recently. And he taught me all the really like advanced stuff, like going through the syncopation book, all the different ways, going through the stick control book, all the different ways, going through the drummer's cookbook, all the different ways. And it was just like these layers of ideas over top of ideas. And it just really got my brain to think creatively and always question what's next. What's the next thing I can do to that? What else can I change on that? So that was part of that. And then playing, it was sort of like an escape. What motivated me was the next part of the question. So first was the friend. Then it was like, well, this is really cool. And then it became like where it was just me and the drums. And that world stops. The real world stops, no matter what's happening in your life. Shut that door. It's just you and the drums, and nothing can touch you. So there's that part of it too. I grasped into that when I was a kid. And then it became, once I did play on stage with this high school stage band, and I got the chance to like play in front of people, it was just like, you had me hooked. You know, I'm done. You got me. I was just so enthralled with the whole excitement of playing in front of people. And then in my senior year, I got a drum solo. So did this big drum solo. I brought my electronic drums in. I had this like Neil Peart kind of like back-to-back drum set. It was really cool. And did a big drum solo. I went to college. I knew I wanted to be a musician already at that point. I've been studying and studying and studying and totally enthralled with drums. And then I went to college, which was the local community college in my area. And that ended up being like ranked in the nation. I think it was like fourth for community colleges in the nation for music programs. Had some amazing professors there. One was Cy Platt. He was an amazing old jazz trumpet player. It was just so cool. It was like the coolest dude. And then we also had Gary Nowak, who did all the arrangements for all the high schools. Pretty much it was for Hal Leonard. So if you pretty much went into any high school, opened up the pages, his name would be on the top. So then studying with those people was like really cool. Then I got hooked up with Dom Famularo, and that was like life-changing. That totally motivated me to the next level. And being more in business, more of refining your craft, really refining all the little motions that you do, down to your feet, how you think, how you move through passages. It just, there was so much that we talked about. And he and I became good friends and became sort of like the pack. I jokingly coined it the Domettes. We were the Domettes. It was all his students that were like go to the trade shows with him, and we would all hang out with him. Super loyal to him. We loved him. So miss him dearly. But yeah, and then opening up my own school. I opened up the Academy of Drums. And then doing that and having all those lessons. And when COVID hit, I actually did a interview, and I actually had to do a calculation. It was like 70,000 half-hour lessons. It just blew my mind. I was just like, oh my God, wow. Been doing that a long time. And it's more now. It's been another 5 years on COVID. So always pushing. Worked on this big drum set. This thing. This is some of my handiwork here. This was a TV show I did called Dramology. And it was like 36 episodes. And I have them all digitally edited down now. And then this was an idea I had after one of the Modern Drummer Festivals. It was Akira Jimbo. Akira Jimbo is this amazing Japanese drummer. He was the drummer for that really awesome Japanese band. My son loves them. I can't think of their name right now, but if you guys know it, let me know. And long story short, he blew my mind. Then I saw Rick Allen without his arm playing the snare drum with his left foot. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool to like take electronic ideas but make it on acoustic sets? So with all this pedal system, I have all these different pedals and hitting snare drums, hitting ride cymbals, hitting all that stuff. So I play grooves with my feet, and then I play other melodies with my hands on the toms. So you have to go to the page, go to my page, check out some of those videos. They're all up there. It's like on my top videos. You'll see it, my whole pedal setup, how it works. And that was some years ago, I'll tell you, so many years ago. Haven't done that drum set in a while because, you know, life sets you in a different direction. And then hooked up with the bands. Then I did a band. I was touring with a band, Juggling Suns, on the East Coast a lot. Did a recording with them. and then left that band, and then now it's Someday Trio, just kind of staying more at home, doing the lessons here, and really trying to push the social media aspect. And I want to really build my following on social media, and that's why I love you guys. I absolutely love you guys, and thanks for letting hear me rant. I know it's a long rant. Uh, right here, Johnny. Sorry, I just want to do a quick little scan here. Metal Rocker Bomb Rush. Cheers. Cheers, dude. Oh, my gosh. Uh, oh, Johnny, you're so welcome. Well, hey, man, I love you guys, and thanks for, like, hanging out on those lives and watching me play all night long. I really do. That means me a lot. Uh, Uh, wait, you did how many 30-minute lessons? So, Wolf, I did 70,000 half-hour lessons up to that point of COVID. Started in 1998. I was teaching an average of 60 students a week. I had 4 teachers underneath me. I was the owner and master instructor. Man, I had so many students and so many things. We would do like bus trips to like the Modern Drummer Festival. I'd have like concerts with the kids. It was like a full-blown drum school, Academy of Drums. And then I incorporated the guitar because I started learning guitar and I loved guitar so much. I was like, oh, this is so awesome. I want to like teach it. So I added that in. And then with COVID and all that, had to sell the building and then restructure here and build a studio here at my in my garage so I can have the more virtual stuff and do it this way. And I'm trying to move into that kind of avenue. But yes, a long time, man. Long, long time. Okay, Big Loaded. What are some of my favorite albums that had huge influence on my playing? So definitely Van Halen. Any of the early Van Halen stuff. I came into Van Halen on Diver Down. That's when I became aware of them, but I quickly loved all their albums, and they were my band. Like, Alex Van Halen is the most underrated drummer. I mean, he gets props, don't get me wrong, but when you hear like a list of great drummers, he's not really like added to that list a lot of times. And man, he's so freaking good. He knows how to kick a band. He knows dynamic control, rhythmic control, of course, just the concepts he had. It just was so good. I mean, if you deny it, listen to Out of Love again. It's on Van Halen 2. Man, his fills are like jazz fills, dude. Like Buddy Rich right there, playing the wickedest groove. I wish I could play it, but I don't want to do that right now because that tonight's not about that. Whoa, my computer talking to me. So, long story short, that's who really influenced me. And then, of course, like, you got Neil Peart, of course. He was another one, second one there. All the Rush stuff. Then when I got with my teacher, Dennis Barth, it was Dave Weckl. Dave Weckl was like the first guy that was outside of a rock category and was not somebody that you'd hear on the radio. And it was more jazz influenced. And man, that blew me away. And then Dennis introduced me to so many other players, of course. Vinnie Colaiuta, Gad, you name it. He introduced me to him. And that changed me. That Dave Weckl changed me. Really did. So anything with him. Metal Rocker, you're not a Rush fan, huh? You think they suck. Hey, some people have that feeling. They can't grasp his voice. They don't like it. They think the music's too choppy. They can't dance to it. So yeah, hey, I mean, I get it. It's not for everybody. It's prog rock, math rock. But man, some of their stuff's pretty cool though. Looking at it from a musician standpoint, that is the shit. And yes, and Metal Rocker, yes, Dave was way better than Sammy Hagar. I refer to that as Van Hagar. Van Halen was with Dave, And I think actually one of their greatest albums is their last one with Dave, uh, which was the drawing a blank on the name of the album right now, but it was 2012. Man, that album's great because it covers a little bit of all the history of Van Halen. It's got like the Hot for Teacher kind of thing. It's got the I'm the One kind of thing. It has some of the things from Diver Down flavor in there. It's really good, man. It's really good. So I would highly recommend that last Van Halen album with David Lee Roth. Man, I just can't remember the name. Let me see if I can do a quick little pull up here and just what's the name of that Van Halen album? It is something. It's got the different kind of truth. That's what it is. Yeah, different kind of truth. That is an amazing album. I love that album. So good. Yes, big loaded. Different kind of truth. So yeah, really good stuff. Um, but yeah, to each his own on who they like. You know. Uh, awesome, Johnny. Thank you for coming back, and thanks for stumbling on. And I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate you and what you're saying. I do really appreciate that. Oh, sorry. Um, and Wolf too. Appreciate you. Thank you for helping in there. Anybody else got any questions? I don't know who else is out there. I don't know if there's like a ton of people. Probably not a lot of people watching. But anybody else has any questions? So if not, I'll talk about maybe this for a second. Give you guys some insight about like what I have to do. So I got this gig on Friday. So tomorrow, and it's with another band, another great band in the area. And again, it's not a lot of songs that I know, just because well, I know them, but I don't know them, and it's not songs that I play all the time. It's a lot of females. There's a female singer, so it's a lot of songs with female singer singing, and it's not songs that Hump Day does. So I have to go through and kind of learn them. There's like a whole bunch of songs I got to kind of go through and learn. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I do that and how I try to learn 30 songs really quick. You know, at first when I said, yeah, I'll do the gig for my student, I was like, yeah, I'll do the gig. I'm thinking like, okay, it's got to be like all the same kind of songs because it's the same guys in the circuit that we all kind of play the same kind of songs. Uh, So it was all different songs that now I have to go through and figure them out. So what I usually do is I'll do like a set list. He was so kind. Side Hustle was the band. Was so kind to send me a set list, and then I just kind of printed it out, and then went through the songs that I really didn't know, or there was like certain breaks that I had to catch, uh, things like that, certain rhythms, and then I'll do things like see if I can show you here. So, okay, so we're doing Rehab by Amy Winehouse. So it's listening to the song. It's kind of like a bluesy 1950s Motown kind of blues structure, right? So when I'm listening to it, all right, I got to figure out the groove. The groove's a little different. So what I do is, if we can see this, so I'm going to try to hold this here and see if you guys can see this. So for Rehab, I write in the verse, and then what I'll do is I'll write the groove down. So it's like boom, chat, 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 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And then the bass drum is on that 1, 2, and 3. So it has to line up on that end of 2. That's a little weird, I'll tell you that. So I had to write that out, and then there's a fill at the end of the measure, okay? And then if I come over here, then it goes into sort of the chorus, where now I'm going to have this like boom, tat, tat, boom, tap, boom, boom, tat, tat, boom, tap, boom, boom, tap, tap, boom, tap, boom, boom kind of pattern. So now I got my two basic parts. Then the structure of the song is over here, which is V for verse, C for chorus, T for turnaround. Then that repeats again. V for chorus, C for V for verse, C for chorus, T for turnaround. Repeats one more time, V, C, T, and then we have a verse at the very end. And then the song's over. All right? So now I can go, all right. When he calls up the song, I can just look at that and go, all right, I know my groove. Boom, chat, chat, boom, chat, chat, boom, chat, boom, boom, chat, chat, boom, chat, boom, boom, chat, chat. It's like that. Then I know the chorus will be boom, tat, tat, boom, tap, boom, boom, tat, tat, boom, tap, boom, boom. Again, like a 1950s Motown thing. And then I just look at that structure and just remember which parts are coming up. And now I'm using my ears to hear the structure of the song and then how it flows. Let's see, here's another one. X's and O's. So X's and O's. Again, I know the song from my students, but just to write out the chart. So it's a quarter note groove, triplet groove 2. So it's like a boom, jat, jat, boom, jat, boom, jat, jat, boom, ba jat, boom, jat, jat, boom, ba jat. And it has a 1 skip in there. Then we have an intro, a verse, and then we have quarter kicks. And then it goes to a chorus, another verse with quarter kicks, a stop, chorus, a solo with the guitar. That's what the S stands for. S is solo, and then the G right below it is for guitar. You can see that. That's a G. And then we go to half quarter note kicks, so boom, boom, boom. And then we have another chorus, and then an end. And we're always kind of referring back to that groove. Boom, jat, jat, boom, bo, jat, boom, jat, jat, boom, bo, jat. So I'll do it that way. So that's one way I'll do it. And then pulled this out, actually saved this. This is from a Santana gig that I had to do. So I was called to play a fill-in gig for this Santana tribute band. They're called Soul Sacrifice Santana Tribute Band. And sadly, their drummer passed away, and they had a corporate gig that they had to do. So they called me to do the fill-in. And again, Santana, I mean, I know, like, Oh Yeah, Como Va, and, you know, like, Evil Ways, but, like, when you get deeper into that, I don't know that stuff. It's not what I listen to. So I had to do some major charting on that. So, like, here's my charts from that. You could see I had to get into all, like, intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, turnaround, verse, pre-chorus, chorus. That's like that top line there. Let's see if I can find one here that has a, let's see. We did the smooth. So smooth is right there. So it says intro, hits, which is that da 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 goes into the guitar part, right? Then it goes into a verse, pre-chorus, chorus with the hits. Da 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 da. Turnaround, verse, pre-chorus, chorus with the hits. Then we have I can't read it from here, but guitar solo. Then again, and see how I can start to just remember where I'm at. So that's a great way of charting out songs. If you guys are performing drummers and you maybe don't know how to chart out all the notation, like writing out grooves, you can simply boil it down to a verse, a chorus, a turnaround, pre-chorus, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you can call it 1 for section 1, 2 for section 2, you go back to 1, go back to 2, then you go to a 3. I mean, you can call it whatever you want. The standardized format for music is introduction, I call that I, V for verse, C for chorus, P, C for pre-chorus, something that kind of lifts you almost all the way to the chorus, like halfway point. S for solo, B for bridge, T for turnaround, something that will kind of bring you back to another verse. Usually a short little piece, like maybe 4 measures or something like that. E for end. So I have all these just basic little letters, and then sometimes I'll just make little extra notes next to it. Like if it's a verse but it's twice through, I might go V with a little 2 on the bottom, meaning I got to go twice through the verse. So that kind of stuff, you can modify it and all that, but it's a great way of doing it. And then another thing I would do is usually bracket out what is repeating. Like if you're going to have 2 sections that repeat, just bracket it out so you can see, okay, I'm going to go through this whole cycle twice. And if that's on your stand, again, you're not face buried into the chart. You're looking at the chart all the time. It's just a quick little glance. So highly recommend doing it that way. And then what does help with that is knowing your 10 core grooves. Right there. If you want to know the secret sauce, that's it right there, buddy. And you might be like, but, that's like super easy. Yeah, and that is what you play all night long. So if you know your 10 core grooves, you can start to add things to them. And I kind of view it like baking a cake. So here's your cakes. You got 10 different kinds of cake. You got a vanilla, you got a chocolate, you got a marble, you got a red velvet, you got, you name it. And with all these different cakes, you have then different kind of icings that you can put on the cake, different layers. Now for drums, that would be like your cymbals. What kind of layers of cymbals are you adding into that? It could be the kind of extra snare drum notes you're adding in, the ghost notes, all those little extras you can throw in. What are you adding on the bass drum? But it always boils down to a core groove. And if you can hear the core groove within inside of all that other stuff, it makes learning songs so easy. When a student asks me, hey, I got to play this song, I just listen to it and go, okay, that's groove 5. Yeah, with all the extras, but it's groove 5. So now I can just play along to that song instantly and add all the extra layers that I know how to add in. Now, how do you add in all those extra layers? It's practice. It's just going through all that stuff. Just repetition, repetition, repetition. But that's how I do it. All right, let's see. There's another one. Wolf. Okay, is there any technique or concept that you're working on now that is new to you, or riff, fill, etc.? Yeah, actually, there's a couple things I'm working on. I'm working on this, which will be a new video, because I'm still practicing it and perfecting it and all that. But this is going to be a solo, a Terry Bozzio ostinato solo. I have it here. I'm working out all the little pieces to it. So that's something I'm working on. I'm going to save that one. I'm not going to play it now because I'm still working on it. But that's going to be an upcoming video in the near future, hopefully with the next, probably within the next month or so, as I get my practice on it. So it's perfected. So I'm working on that. That's very challenging. That's really cool. I've kind of adapted it for a 5-piece drum set, and I've reorchestrated it a little bit, so I put my own little twist to it compared to the original solo. So I have that, and then I'm also working on... Hey, Anthony, thank you so much, man. Dude, I love that. Thank you so much for that tip. I really appreciate it, buddy. So that Bozzio solo, and what was the other thing? Oh, so the other fill I was messing with the other day, because all right, that fill right there is something I've been playing since the beginning of time. I don't know how I stumbled onto it as a kid, but I did, and it was something that I just played. And I've played it so much that it's become part of me. And it's combinations of singles and doubles, very much like a paradiddle diddle diddle, and I think there's an extra diddle with your foot. So stick on, figure it out. Okay, so pattern. 10-note pattern. Now, if you practice it enough, you can take that 10-note pattern and squeeze it into anything you want to squeeze it into if you're focusing on that first note. And if you line that first note up with the tempo, then it doesn't matter you're playing 10 notes or not. You're just playing your sequence and you're focusing on that mark. You know, you're hitting your mark every time. Boom, 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 out. And as long as that first note's there, the other ones have to follow. And that's one cool thing that I did learn. I took one lesson from Bernard Purdy when I was younger. This is before the Academy of Drums. I was working at a drum shop, and he came in for a clinic day. And this is when I was with Dom Famularo, and he encouraged me to take a private lesson with him. So I was like, okay, yeah, I would love to. Bernard Purdy, sure. So took a private lesson with him, and I had a bunch of questions for him. And I didn't want to hear him play. I just wanted to pick his brain. And one of the questions was, I said, how does Bernard Purdy define groove? And he said, wow, that's a great question. He goes, you got to know where one is. He goes, if you know where one is, the other numbers will find their spots. You know, it's easy. But you got to have that one. And it kind of comes back to the bass idea, always hitting that one on that boom, 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 right? That heavy root note. Can't think of the guy's name. The bass player. Crazy. Got the sunglasses. D-Light in the video. So yeah, that whole thing. So that fill, back to what I was kind of getting at. So that little fill, I started messing with the concept of doing it like in a 6-stroke roll to some degree. So it's a right, left, left, foot, foot, left. So as we know, like the typical 6-stroke roll in a triplet form is right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right. If I put that onto the toms, maybe like the first right hand up here. Right. So then what I was experimenting with is replacing the double right with a bass drum. And then getting comfortable with that. I'm still not 100% comfortable with it because my left hand is still trying to figure out the spots, you know. I tend to change my hand pattern when I go too fast. So I have to, in my mind, I gotta remember, keep it slow, keep it even. And that's another thing I was hearing. I was kind of hearing the resolution. That's another way you can kind of do it. That one I'm a little more comfortable with because now I'm resolving to that right to left hand again. That was one of them. But the other one was a little more challenging for me, where I was going to the left hand. And now I'm looping it. That kind of stuff. Something I'm working on. That's something I'm working on. I'm also always working on trying to get flow, hear different fills, so I don't always oversaturate myself of the same stuff all the time, you know, that kind of thing. All right. Anthony, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, Anthony. Yeah, and Anthony has come out to the Arrowhead, the famous Sunday night Arrowhead Lives. He's been out to them to see me play there. He's on the Jersey Shore here. So Wolf. Yeah, it was a cool lesson, man. Are you going to double pedal for the 2 kick hats at hits at full speed? No, that's all single pedal, Wolf. That's a single pedal thing. So here's my left foot on the hi-hat. So just got to really work on crushing those 2 notes together. You know, it says like that, like really fast. And I think you had a question about that the other day, I believe, Wolf, and about, I think I kind of answered that. But here, let me try to move the snare drum out of the way so you can visualize my foot. Here, let me angle this just down a little bit so you can see my foot better. See if I can do that. Kinda. See if I can move this a little bit. All right. Yeah, that kind of works. All right. So, to answer your question, Wolf, that slide is the key for speed. You can't really do it toe heels. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. There's some people out there that are playing some toe heel stuff. That's pretty remarkable. I mean, just look at any Instagram feed and YouTube feed, and man, you'll see like these guys doing these things. So it comes down to, if you start with a technique, that's going to be your technique. It's usually whatever is the first technique you stumble upon that becomes the main technique that you use all the time. It's just how our brain works. Yes, you can incorporate other techniques by working on these other ones and really practicing and all that. But man, when it comes down to it, what feels like home is that first one you ever learned. It's just the way it is. All right. So for me, the first one I ever learned was the slide. So it was a lot of a moving forward while you're starting to generate the motion from a ankle position, ankle motion. Now, if I refine this, and this is what I teach the students, called a tap drop. So you're doing a tap with your foot, and then a drop with your heel. So slow speed, it's like this. Tap, drop, tap, drop, tap, drop, tap, drop. And that allows you to be relaxed, too, so the beater gets away from the head, and you're not mashing it. You're not doing this. That's a lot of tension. My calf is tight. All the weight of my leg is going into the bass drum head. And there's another argument there. People are like, don't mash the bass drum head. I don't really care. I do it all the time. It's a different sound. That sounds different than that. And it feels different, too. All right. Now, if I go a little faster, this is sort of a Dave Weckl thing. Again, being a Weckl head when I was younger, I studied those first videos that came out. Back to basics, he called them. And he talked about his foot technique, and it was this. So it kind of was right up my alley. I was like, all right, I'm going to just suck up at what he does. Now, when he gets to maybe a medium to faster speed, he starts to kick his heel inward this way towards the snare drum stand. And that's how he drops his foot. So he'll do the tap up here and then drop to his side a little bit. Now, I don't do that at drastic. If you watch him, he kind of does a little bit that. And so does Virgil Donati. He does that too when he does his double strokes. Also Calvin from High Fade, that amazing drummer. He does some fast double strokes by doing the swivel technique. So this little pivot allows you to get some motion. And with that with that kick of your heel to the side, you're kind of hopping your foot up a little bit. So Weckl does it like that. So I started doing it that way. Then refining my foot technique, studying with Dom Famularo, I learned how to do it just more straight on. And I didn't rely on my heel having to kick out to get that double stroke. Now a motion like this, where I'm doing the slide, doesn't require a lot of ankle motion. Your ankle can somewhat be sort of locked into place, maybe a little pivot, but it's that motion forwards and backwards and how you're catching the pedal at the right oscillation that allows you to get the two notes. Now, if you don't do the slide and you want to do the doubles, now you have to do more ankle motion. So if I don't do the slide, try to really limit this motion there. So now I can get some pretty quick ones where it's really just the drop of my heel now, and my ankle is sort of like pumping the pedal a little more. So there's that kind of motion. That'd be like maybe medium to fast. And they can be the quick ones too if I start to now go back to the slide and really lock my heel. Like my heel's like stiff. And now I go back to the slide, but now it's really fast. It's almost like I'm kicking the bass drum. And now all the weight of my leg is now finishing on that last stroke, on the ball of my foot. My heel never touches the ground. And it's that fast pumping kick motion that allows me to be quick. All right, so slow. Quicker if you do the Weckel kick. Or if you keep it in line. Now if I start to do the hop and really tighten my ankle and then rely on the weight of my leg, I get the really fast ones. So that's how you can do like your Bonham. That kind of stuff, right? And if you get that down, then you could do doubles with your hand. That. That's always fun to of all that stuff. Hopefully the drums aren't killing the volume. Does it sound okay? Metal Rocker's like jam time. Oh, you're welcome, man. Yeah, and again, the Picaro technique, the slide technique, whoever you see it first from is kind of how you refer to. But that is really the most, I guess, economical and applicable way of doing it. At least I think. Excellent, Wolf. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. If there's anybody out there that hasn't put a question in there, please do. At least put in the comment where you're from. If you don't normally follow me, or I know Wolf is here, Johnny's maybe he's still here, and Metal Rocker's here. But if there's any other questions, yeah, put it in there. And I'm going to wrap it up with like maybe a short little solo because I got to cut it. So hit the subscribe, guys. Don't forget tomorrow night, Side Hustle. So hit that live tomorrow night. It's going to be all different music, songs that I normally don't play. So you're going to see me under the fire here. And wish me luck. I think I'll be all fine. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun because it's going to keep me on my toes. It's going to be songs I normally don't play. So I got to stay focused. And it's going to be exciting. So Come on out tomorrow night. Check out that live. I really appreciate it. All right, man. All right. All right, Metal is out. All right, buddy. So let me pull the snare drum back in here. One sec, I gotta put the microphone back on. All right. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Wolf. Thanks, Johnny. Big Loaded. The time tomorrow. 8:30. Look at I have it scheduled already on my lives. So Big Loaded. I think it's 8:30 tomorrow night, Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure where you're at, but Eastern Standard Time. And Wolf, thank you for being there. Anthony, thank you for being there. Johnny, thank you for being there. And Metal Rocker. Who else was here tonight? Big Loaded. I don't know if you're still there or not. And I think that was it. If there's anybody I missed, I'm sorry. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. If you have any other questions, put them in there. Johnny's in Virginia. Thank you so much, Johnny. Thank you, Metal Rocker. I'm about to be out. Thanks for watching. And if anybody has any last-minute questions, put it in the comments. And hit the subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow night.